much did you drink before we left, Dwarf?
Well, I don't see what concern that is of yours.
When my every conjuration all but sets your breath alight, then it's my concern.
Ah, good point, sir. I shall endeavour not to exhale.
Hello Internet, welcome to Games Done Wrongish. Today we will be taking a look at the first two Xbox games with gold titles for the month of December 2017. The titles are Child of Eden and Warhammer Endtime Vermintide. Let's take a look. Child of Eden seems to have been created to be a rhythm-based Kinect-controlled game. Unfortunately, this game has never been updated to work with the Kinect 2, which came with the original Xbox One. Therefore, I could not try it out this way as I no longer have an Xbox 360 with Kinect. Child of Eden's story is based around a young girl named Lumi, who was born in outer space on the International Space Station. She never got to visit Earth despite longing to do so. She sang out to the people of Earth during her lifetime and eventually passed away according to the introduction to the game. You are also advised that all of Lumi's memories and data have been uploaded to the internet. In the future, the internet becomes referred to as Eden, as all humans now live out in the far reaches of space, but use Eden as a reference to home. As such, Lumi is now a living presence within Eden. With that information, you are thrown into the game with the line, "Save Eden, save Lumi." So I am not really sure if you play the game as Lumi, or a coder trying to combat the viruses let loose in Eden in order to save Lumi and the internet. Either way, the game revolves around you shooting lots of different shaped blocks and models in a shifting space-like digital world. The game is on rails. You have three main attacks. Holding A whilst moving your reticle over the enemies will target lock them. You can lock onto 4 or 5 enemies or objects at a time. Letting go of A will fire missiles at all of the objects you have locked onto. Holding X will fire a stream of purple lasers. These are much weaker than the missiles against most objects, however there are some enemies and projectiles that are also purple in colour. In order to defeat these you must use this ability. Last but not least is your super bomb type ability. Throughout the course of a level you can shoot power-ups. This will add one super bomb to the lower left portion of your screen. Pressing B will fire this bomb and basically obliterates every target on screen at that time. I played through 2 of the levels. There seemed to be 5 in total, at least at the start. During this time I was not really sure what the main aim of the game was. There was music playing that seemed to skip or beat a little when I fired, however the shooting never really seemed to enhance the music or play any major role in how it sounded, other than making it skip a beat or repeat a beat over and over until I stopped firing. This is where I feel I made a mistake playing with the controller. Perhaps when playing with the Kinect you get to move and react in time with the music, which makes it feel more natural and more rhythm based. With a controller though, it does not really make much sense, at least at first. Maybe if you play longer it will click and you will understand how to play it as intended. After the first 2 levels I hit a temporary wall. To move on to the next level I had to acquire 8 stars. According to my scores on the previous levels I had only collected 2 stars from each level and therefore needed 4 more. I did not feel compelled enough to go back and play those 2 levels again, so this is where my time with the game ended. It was not long, a brief half an hour or so, but I had had enough. I was not sure what I could do different if I went back to earn more stars anyway. I was not really sure what was going on the first time around. You seem to fly through tunnels and open spaces shooting everything on screen until a boss type figure arrives. In the second level this was portrayed as a giant whale, which did look pretty cool. The whale seemed to have lots of barnacles attached to it. The barnacles turn red and seem to be attacking the whale. Shooting them turns them green, which makes it seem like you are helping the whale. Then all of a sudden the whale starts firing purple projectiles at you, so then I was not sure if I was helping or hindering, or if the whale was actually a virus and in fact an enemy, not something in need of my help. After a while the whale turns into a fiery phoenix that again has lots of red targets all over it and shoots purple objects at you. Eventually you grind it down until a ball in the centre of the creature appears, which you can shoot over and over until it is defeated and the level ends. Both levels played pretty similar except in a different environment and with a different end boss type. I did not really get injured that much. I am pretty sure I defeated everything I was supposed to, so I am not sure what I needed to do to gain more stars. The only thing I can think of is that there is a rhythm trick to it that is hard to figure out with the controller. As stated though, I was not compelled enough by the game to try it again, so I left it. The game has 49 achievements to collect for a total of 1000 gamer points. The average time to acquire these is stated to be around 40 to 50 hours. Overall, the game did not resonate with me. I did not feel like I was having a lot of fun with it, more confused by it all than anything else. This could be different with the Kinect and more time to play, however I did not feel that it would change very much with a controller. As such, I cannot recommend the game to anyone that does not own a 360 with Kinect. I also cannot recommend it to people that do own a 360 with Kinect, as I did not play it with one. If you do have one though and do try it that way, please come back and let me know your thoughts and experience down in the comments below this video. I would really like to know if this makes all the difference or not. Warhammer End Time Vermintide is a mouthful. It's also a fairly decent Games Workshop video game. If you have ever played any of the Left 4 Dead games, you will be instantly familiar with the formula of this game. Vermintide, as the title may suggest, has you and up to 3 other players fighting off tides of vermin. These are rat-like creatures that will attack you and your teammates in hordes. You have a choice of 5 characters to play as. These are a witch hunter that has 2 pistols for ranged attacks and a sword for melee attacks. Next is the Waywatcher. This character uses a bow and daggers. Then the dwarf, which uses a shield and hammer combo for melee combat and a crossbow for ranged attacks. Next is the bright wizard, which is very much a mage-like character using fire spells for ranged attacks and a fiery sword in melee range. Finally, you have the soldier. This character wields a sword and shield combo at melee and a Gatling gun at ranged. Each character has their own strengths and weaknesses. The ranged characters such as the Waywatcher and Bright Wizard can be very good with ranged attacks but have very little defense in melee, whereas the dwarf and soldier can be the opposite. It is a good idea to work as a team, keeping your shield bearers out in front to provoke the enemy drawing their attacks and blocking them with their shields, while the ranged characters pick off the vermin with ranged or melee attacks as they see fit. The game is set in a gothic-like fantasy era. When you start the game, you are inside a small tavern. If you are playing as the dwarf, it is almost compulsory to drink the ale offered to you by the barkeep. Aside from this, the tavern is the starting area and safe zone between missions. In here you can check your equipment and upgrades to your characters, restock your ammo and manage your inventory. When you are ready to do battle, you can approach the map on the table in the middle of the main room. At first you are offered 2 options, quick play or custom game. Choosing quick play and the difficulty you wish to play in will put you straight into matchmaking. When 1 or more players are found, you will join their group and both players will be loaded into the same tavern instance. From here you can either wait for more players or choose ready and make a start. If you go out with just 2 or 3 players, the remaining spots in your team will be filled with bots. If anyone else joins your game at any point after this, the bots will be swapped out for the new players. As such, when you choose quick play, there is also the chance that you will join a match in progress and go straight into battle instead of meeting up first in the tavern. Once the match begins, you will have a clear goal on screen that you and your team need to complete. As shown here, our goal initially was to reach the tower. As such, we had to fight our way through the streets until we found the tower. Once we did, the goal changed to reach the top of the tower and sound the horn to alert the town that they were under attack from the Vermintide. Once you have completed all goals and fought off all the tides, you can retreat to a stagecoach to leave the mission and return to the tavern. When choosing quick play to join a game, you do not always have the option to play the character you may prefer. If for instance you are playing the dwarf in the tavern and join a match that already has a dwarf in the party, you will be asked to choose one of the available classes. As there are 5 classes and each match consists of 4 players, there will always be at least some choice of character, even if you only get to pick between 1 of 2 classes. If you really want to play as the dwarf and nothing else, then you will need to choose a custom game. Here you can choose the mission you want to play and you get to choose your class first as you are the host. This may work well right now as there are a lot of people playing due to the game being free as part of the Games with Gold service. However, when the player base starts to dwindle, you may not always get a group this way, so it is wise to get used to each class in turn so that later on down the line you'll be able to jump into a quick game and play any class well. Obviously, if you plan on playing this with 3 friends and keeping the same classes, then you can play any mission you like and not have to worry about any of that. The standard game has 45 achievements to collect for a total of 1000 points. The estimated time to achieve these is around 150 to 200 hours. Overall, this game is a lot of fun. It's an easy to jump in and out of game, which is great for the times when you are stuck with nothing you really want to play. Each match takes around 15 to 20 minutes to complete, so you could jump in, play a match or two to get you in the mood for gaming while you are trying to decide what to play. It can grip you and keep you there for hours, or tide you over until you decide on something else. Playing with friends on voice comms can give it some extra depth and fun. I recommend using voice comms even when playing with random players, but I can understand if some people prefer not to. Either way, once you get used to what to do in each match, you can easily perform well with or without communication. If you have played and enjoyed the Left 4 Dead games, you are very likely going to enjoy this. If you have never played any of those or this, then give it a go. It may surprise you and introduce you into a new style of gaming you did not know existed. That wraps up this week's video for Games Done Wrongish. Join me again later in the month when we will overview the next 2 games. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you didn't like it, then give it a thumbs down. But please try to leave some constructive feedback in the comments below this video so that I can try to make more enjoyable content for you in the future. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe by clicking on the icon in the middle of this screen. To learn more about the channel, you can click the What is Games Done Wrongish video on the left, or you can visit my website at www.gamesdonewrongish.com. Thank you, and until the next time, goodbye.